let's talk about the 1966 animated Batman films that came out a few years ago, starring Adam West, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, and at some point William Shatner. Let's talk about them. And this is, of course, the end of Batman Week. Happy Batman Day, because that's what today is. Let's talk about Return of the Cape Crusader, and of course, Batman vs. Two-Face. So we're talking about both of them. But first off, of course, Return of the Cape Crusader. So this film is about Batman and Robin have, return, and they are going up against the Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler, the original foes from the original 1966 movie that, of course, was spawned from the famous 66 show that I really haven't watched too much of. I remember back when it was called Netflix Instant in the early 2010s, watching the Batman movie a lot, or Batman the movie a lot, and I do hope to one day talk about that film because I do love it, and I watched it since I was a kid, but I never really had too much experience with the show itself. But this is, of course, a really fun time for families, people who love the movie, love the show, or possibly love both. Adam West and Burt Ward return to great perfection. They, honest to God, sound really good. Now, they do, of course, sound old. I do think Adam West just does a really good job at playing the Batman character. And yeah, he you can tell that he's maybe trying to sound younger, but he's also just doing his Batman voice, well, Robin, look, this is how Batman talks in 1966. Groovy, baby. He's just doing the voice. And Burt Ward, actually sounds pretty good. He's actually a pretty good voice actor across both of these. And, of course, Adam West has had the most experience because Adam West just kept showing up in things. But, they're really good. And Adam West consistently has me laughing throughout this film. No matter really what he's saying, it's great. My favorite particular scene is when they're in the space station and Adam West starts saying the lines, classic Batman lines, it's an operating table, you want to get nuts, let's get nuts, stuff like that. It's really cool, and it's a really cool scene. And I love this movie. I love how they bring back a lot of the classic villains, not only Joker, Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman, but they bring back a lot of other characters just kind of, just to be there. They're not really voiced by anybody for the most part. And yeah, this is a really cool movie. Return of the Cape Crusaders. It's nice, it's fun, and it's campy. My real problem lies within the last 8 minutes, maybe a little less, where something's revealed and you gotta sort of stop the main plot. That was just okay, but everything, I don't really like that. It's just kind of okay. It feels like it goes on a little long. But everything else is amazing when it comes to what Batman is doing in the second half of the movie. It's just really all good fun and really, great. This is a really fun Batman movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, that's recommended. And then, of course, you have Batman versus Two-Face. So, I actually got this from Walmart, back a little after it came out. And then my mom got me this for Christmas. But we're just going to take off the slipcover and sort of talk about it like this. So, Batman versus Two-Face is about, Two-Face is a villain that they never did in 66. And, of course, there was a script written to possibly do Two-Face in 66, that comic, or that was adapted into a comic. And this kind of has no real relation to that. This is a original story. Both of these are original stories written for these films. But they, of course, bring in William Shatner to come and voice Two-Face. And William Shatner is doing a really good job. I know that he kind of famously has been sort of mocked, for lack of a better word. He's kind of been mocked for his, or scrutinized. He's been heavily scrutinized for his performance as Captain Kirk in the Star Trek animated series. And I will say, I think he's gone on to do better voice roles, in Osmosis Jones. He's pretty good in that. But I do understand, he probably didn't want to be doing a cartoon. He probably saw it beneath himself. But he really brings it here as both Harvey Dent and Two-Face. And like this is really fun. And like Two-Face is, I don't know if I talked about this before, like when I reviewed The Dark Knight, but Two-Face is my favorite Batman villain ever. I would say he's one of my favorite Batman villains, but like I think you can guess who my others are. I really love Two-Face, and it's just so cool to see like just a more comedic Two-Face. Burt Ward has great line readings. Adam West does a really good job here. There's a really touching moment towards the end of this film where like Batman says to Robin, to you know, basically, I'm paraphrasing him, but he's like, you know, you will always be my greatest ally in this never-ending war on crime. I will always pick you because you're Robin. And Robin's kind of having a bit of a, you know, he's having a bit of jealousy because Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent are good friends, so there's a bit of an envy thing going on with Robin, and Robin, you know, thinks that he's lacking, but Bruce, you know, Batman says, you are my greatest ally, you know, I will always pick you to help me in this never-ending war on crime. And like that's so cool and so touching. And like there's no way of knowing, of course, when they wrote this, that this would be Adam West's final time playing Batman, and I think this is like legitimately his final performance in anything. But like there's no way for them to know that, but just them having this version of Batman say that, hey, look, even if this is like the last time that our characters ever appear for whatever reason, this Batman and Robin are always going to be out there punching people so hard that words come out of nowhere. You know, like it's just so cool and so touching. I do sort of wish that there was like a sticker on here or something that said that this was the final performance. And I think that was a common complaint back when this came out in 2017. That I do kind of wish that there was a sticker that said, hey, this is Adam West's final performance, because on the top they do make a big deal out of William Shatner as Two-Face, which is cool. It makes sense. William Shatner is a big name. I think he does a good job here. And yeah, I do love the animation. I will say now we're going to look at the cast here on Letterboxd. Most of the impressionists are actually pretty good. I am a big fan of Steve Weber. He's the other brother from a show called Wings, a 90s sitcom called Wings. Tim Daly was also in that show. But like Weber has also been, like, he's the mayor in NCIS New Orleans. He was Norman Osborn in Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, he's a good actor. He's really good here as Alfred. You have the guy who, one of the two writers of the first two, what are they called? Night in the Museum movies. He does Chief O'Hara here. Wally Winger is like, he does Riddler in the Arkham games. He's Riddler here, and like he does a really good job. I don't think he sounds like, it sounds like Wally Winger. Like, if you know what his voice sounds like, he's also Ant-Man in the Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes cartoon. Like, if you know his voice, you can clearly tell that that's Wally Winger. But like, he's good. I like the Cesar Romero Joker impersonator. Probably the weakest impersonator is, and this thing's to say, is a man named William Slayer or whatever. He's he's Rigby in the regular show. He's also Doc Ock in the Insomniac Spider-Man games. So like, that kind of stings, but like, he's just playing Penguin. Like, he's just doing it's a good Penguin voice, but it isn't Burgess Meredith, you know? And then yeah, it's pretty good. And that brings me to, of course, Julie Newmar. No offense to Julie Newmar, and like I said, Burt Ward and Adam West are doing a decent enough job sounding young. Julie Newmar sounds like a grandma. Like, she sounds her age, and like that's not like me being rude to her. That's just criticizing her performance. She sounds like a grandma. Like, it sounds like a grandma flirting with Batman, and that's weird. And like, I don't think it's as bad as Rogue. Like, my big complaint with, one of my big complaints with X-Men 97 is that Rogue sounds too old to be like a 26-year-old Southern Belle. But like where with that, it's like a problem because Rogue is supposed to be like my age, but yet she sounds like a grandma. You know, like that's a major problem. Batman and Catwoman in this universe are fairly old, so it's not good. It's definitely a criticism, but it's not as jarring as like with Rogue. But no, I love these movies. I love both of these movies insanely well, and I think they're really fun, really good. If you're a big fan like me of Batman Brave and the Bold, this is basically like Batman 66 took itself a bit more seriously and was a bit more for kids. So like if you're a big fan of that show, I do think that you would like these, because these are really good. And honestly, I kind of wish that they kicked off, like, because these, I bet you probably were successful. I kind of wish that they were able to make more of these. They probably just made 2 thinking, okay, we'll just make 2, see how that goes. And then, of course, unfortunately, Adam West passed away, so they weren't able to make more. But I kind of wish that they were, 1, able to make more of these, and 2, that this sort of kicked off a renaissance of, you know, doing this, of making animated movies that were based off of old TV shows. Like, obviously, X-Men 97 is a show. It's a bit different. It comes from a different place creatively. But, like, where's my Linda Carter Wonder Woman animated movie? I would love a return of Lou Ferrigno's Hulk. You know, obviously, you can have Bill Bixby, but, like, you could do a continuation of, like, I don't know, Hulk the animated series or something. I don't know. It just sort of things that like this sort of like didn't catch on the way that it should. But yeah, comment below, let me know what is your favorite Batman movie. Mine is The Batman or Batman Begins. What is your favorite Batman show? Mine is Batman Beyond or The Batman. Ironically, I really love these films. I would love to hear if you do as well. Happy Batman Day. God bless. He loves you. He made you special. And have a nice day. Love you.